Hello and welcome back to Modelling Misadventures. Now, bit of a change of direction this time. I've taken the plans off, all the wooden gluing construction is finished, and it's now time to start covering the model. And this is quite an interesting phase because you go from having a wooden framework to actually a completed aeroplane. So without any further ado, let's get going. So I'm going to cover this model in this stuff called Aura cover. I bought it from a model shop in the United Kingdom when I was visiting there, and I'm going to use two colours I think overall, cream and red, and hopefully try to make the plane look nice. Now I'm going to be using two irons for this part of the project. This is an iron-on material, and I'm going to be using a standard hobby iron specifically designed for putting on iron-on coverings on planes. But I've also got this one, which I actually got from my wife Sarah, and this is a seam iron actually for clothing purposes, but it's really useful for getting the iron-on material into small little corners. So that's what I'm going to be using to put this stuff on. So I've got my board laid out. I've got the Aura cover weighted down, and the fuselage is sitting on it, and I'm going to start off by covering the bottom of the fuselage in cream. Now I'm obviously using a brand new blade for this, if you want a nice clean cut. Alright, this is the first piece going on, starting right at the back. Got my iron set to 100. Just iron that on there. Well, that's the bottom of the model covered. Looking quite nice. So now it's time to move on to the sides. Now I'm going to try here to put a piece of red curved trim on the side. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but I've used this curve ruler to draw it out. We'll see what it looks like when it goes on. Now I want to get this curve exactly right, so I've cut it out on one side, and then I've taped this side onto another piece of red film, and then I'm going to cut exactly along the same line so that the two sides will be perfectly symmetrical. Well, that's what the pieces look like. Now it's just a case of trying to get them on and seeing if those curves will look good on the plane, as good as they look here. Well, this is the moment of truth. Got it lined up how it needs to be. Let's see if we can tack it on. Well, the curve's gone on all right. It's looking okay so far. Well, I've got the fuselage done, and it's looking pretty nice. I've got the front end in the red and then the back end in the cream, which is see-through. So yeah, some tricky bits at the front, getting around the cowl and the bit around the engine intake. Had to put it a lot around the windows, but it's come out very nice. And see again the bottom there. Now I've put this tail wheel on the back instead of a skid, so I'm happy with that. I've got my control horns coming out there. Got to do the vertical fin so far, but so far so good. Really happy with that. And now it's time to get on with the wing. Well, I've got the wing covered, and at the moment it's all covered in cream covering, but next I'm going to put a red stripe along the front end to match the front of the fuselage, and this centre section will be red as well. So that'll be the next part, and once that's done, the wing is finished. Well, here it is, the wing, it's finished. So there's my red stripe on the front, and I think it's come out very nice. So that's that part done. Next, we've only got the tailplane and the vertical fin to do. Let's get going. Well, the plane is completely covered. I've got the fuselage all done here, and now you can see the vertical fin is covered. Wings done. That's all finished. And here we've got the horizontal stabilizer, the elevator and the rudder. So that's the covering done, and the final stage of the assembly is to do all the little finishing touches. I've got to put the engine in and connect the fuel tank up. I've got to connect all the control surfaces. Got to put the undercarriage on. So a few bits and pieces to finish off, but for this video that's it. I'll say goodbye, and I'll see you next time on Modelling Misadventures.